So you're wondering how to get your parents to be less overprotective? I've got 4 surefire tips for you today to make that happen. Just a few miles from my home is a mountain that I like to climb. In the summer, you go up there and it's just awesome, the views that you get, and it just feels good to get the body moving. I don't know if you've done much hiking before. When you hike, as you climb up a mountain, if you can picture a mountain, and down here at the bottom of the mountain, when you're just starting out, you're in the trees and you can't see very much yet. Well, as you get up above the trees, as you climb up that mountainside, and you get up to a little higher point, what happens to your view? Yeah, it opens up, doesn't it? You start to be able to see so much as you hike up that mountain. Well, what happens as you hike a little higher on that mountain? You see even more. It opens up even more. And when you get to the top of that mountain, you can see everything on this side and everything on this side. And it's so awesome. When I was up there hiking with one of my sons, he was only 11 at the time, and it was his first time up the mountain, and we were down there in the trees like I was saying, and we got up above the trees and we took a little break right here on the mountain. And as we looked out over that view, I asked my son, "Do you think the view could get any better than this?" And he's like, "No, Dad, I don't think so. This is awesome." Well, what did I know since I've been up on the mountain higher? I know that the view continues to expand as you climb up the side of that mountain. This has something to do with your parents. Parents love you. Now, I know that there may be some exceptions to that, but you're probably not one of those. Your parents love you. Keep that in mind for a minute because that's going to be important later on. Parents are hiking this mountain, okay? And they get up to this point on the mountain and then they have kids. Now the kids start hiking the mountain. You know, the mountain of life, if we think of it that way. And so as the kids start coming up the mountain, the parents are already up here higher on the mountain. Does that make sense? And so here's mom and dad and they're up there looking down and they're thinking, "Oh no! She's gonna go off of a cliff!" And so they start freaking out. And they start jumping around and hollering down at you, "Hey! No! Don't go there!" And they're getting all upset about what you're doing down there because they're afraid you're gonna go off of a cliff or something. Meanwhile, you're down here and you're thinking, "What? I'm hiking. I'm doing just fine. Quit bothering me. I can see." No, don't go there. Parents do this because they're worried. They love you. They want you to be happy. They're afraid if you run off of a cliff, you won't be happy. So they're trying to stop that, but they don't control it. You do. You're the one that's moving your feet. I wanted to share the mountain analogy with you so that you'll understand why parents get overprotective. They're worried and they don't experience very much control over you and your choices. Now, meanwhile, you're thinking, "I'm trying to hike here. I'm doing fine. Quit bothering me." And you feel like they're trying to control your choices. They feel like they can't control your choices. And that's why we get this struggle going on. So here's your 4 tips. Trust me, the first one is the most important. Demonstrate maturity. Now, if you're not sure what I mean by maturity, I've got some other videos here that'll help you to understand it. Or if your parents are connected to the Parenting Power-Up, I've described 3 stages of moral development in there that helps parents understand how controlling they need to be. All you need to know is if you're mature and responsible, parents are going to back off and chillax a little bit. Now, it's not just about how mature you are. It's about how mature they think you are. And they're going to be looking for things like defiance or profanity or substance abuse or neglecting your schoolwork or hanging out with friends that are doing all those things. If they see you doing any of those things, they're going to think that you're less mature and they're going to try to become more controlling. So you've got to hit a level where you're actually mature enough and you can convey that maturity to your parents that you're making good life choices, that you're tracking the dangers that are out there so they don't have to freak out and try to do it for you. That's probably the most important thing that I could share with you. That's why it's tip number 1. You demonstrate maturity in your choices, in the way you spend your time. Get them to see that you're on it. Tip number 2, use your communication skills and actually talk to them. They're human beings. They speak your language. Talk to them. Parents are constantly guessing what's going on in your mind, and they're not very good mind readers. You might be totally fine. You might be totally mature. You might be okay with the choices you're making, but they don't know that. And so they've got this imagination that's usually worse than reality. Talk to them. Open up. I've worked with so many parents who tell me this all the time. They're like, oh, if my kid would just talk to me, then I'd be fine. Try it. Open up. Talk to them. Communicate. Tip number 3. Now, this has to do with communication as well. But in addition to talking, do some listening, will ya? You've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Let's use them in that proportion. Pay attention to what your parents are saying. It goes a long way for them when you show that you're trying to understand them. You'll notice understanding and agreeing aren't the same thing. And I'm not even saying you have to obey them. I'm saying listen and reflect back to them what you understand. Try a phrase like this. Okay, Mom, so you're saying, and then give it back to her. Not in a flippant, sarcastic way. No, I mean genuine. Okay, Mom, so you're saying that you're really concerned about me going to that party. And then don't argue with it. Just show her that you understood what she was saying. That's powerful. Tip number 4, and we'll finish off with this one for now. Express appreciation. Honestly, just drop the attitude and realize where most of that good stuff in your life comes from. Show appreciation for that. And notice that you've got a place to live, for example. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. And you're probably not paying for it. Notice that and express some appreciation for that. Is there food in your refrigerator? Wow, that's magical. Not. Parents provide that stuff. So express the appreciation. That goes a long way to getting them to cool off too. I want to know if this is working for you. Would you put some comments down below? Share what's working, and you can also ask questions down there if you want to. If your parents aren't connected yet to the Parenting Power Up, you might want to give them a heads up to that, because I think that's going to help me to help your parents. There's a link right over there or down in the description. parentingpowerup.com.
I saw her standing in the street alone.